Well, hey, this is Josh Nelson with Plumbing and HVAC SEO. And on this video, I want to address what I find to be one of the biggest marketing issues facing the plumbing, HVAC, and home services industry. And that's unconverted leads. At this point now, having worked with about 170 plumbing, HVAC, home service companies from across the country, helping lots of them generate hundreds and hundreds of calls via the internet every month, we've identified that there's a massive issue facing you and the others in this industry that I believe we can help to solve. So here it is. Most plumbing, HVAC, home service companies are making a large investment in marketing, right? You guys know that you have to spend money in order to make money. And you tend to be pretty diverse in your marketing strategy, right? You're spending money on websites and SEO and pay-per-click and social media and local service ads and other pay-per-lead services. And so, there's money going in a lot of different places, and of course you want to maximize your lead flow, but oftentimes, even when you get the leads, even when you get the opportunities, you don't have much to show for it. There's not a lot of return on investment. And here's what we're finding. If you don't have a great mechanism to convert your leads, the people that call in, the people that submit web forms, the people that fill out requests, you're not going to have a return on investment. Right? And so this is really the problem. What we're seeing, and again, this is now working with hundreds of plumbing and HVAC companies throughout the country, is that 50 to 60% of inbound phone leads, the customers that call in on the line, leave unconverted. We know that they were in need of plumbing, HVAC, home service related services, and for whatever reason, they decided they're going to call back later, or they needed to check with the tenant, or they needed to see if their wife would be home, and they hung up, right? And almost 90% of the web forms that get filled out on the website, the little form that says, hey, enter your details here and let's start a conversation, don't get followed up with, and they don't wind up converting. And what we find is, obviously, if you can generate leads, but they don't convert, or they don't convert as well as they should, you're going to be leaving money on the table. And really, here's the issue and why this doesn't work out right. Leads that aren't followed up within 15 minutes tend to go cold. As a matter of fact, we've found the statistic that leads that are followed up within 5 minutes are 600% more likely to convert into booked jobs. The other interesting stat is that the average customer has to be followed up with 5 to 7 times before booking a service call. And today's consumer would much rather interact with you via text message than phone. And what we're finding is, as we work with hundreds of plumbing HVAC companies, is that most web forms don't get followed up with within 15 minutes. As a matter of fact, they don't get followed up with at all. The form comes in, somebody at the office is responsible for doing that, in addition to answering the phones, in addition to dispatching the guys, and it just kind of sits on the shelf as when we get time, we'll get to it, right? And that creates a disconnect. Almost none of the web forms convert. The other thing is, you guys are getting calls coming in from every angle because you're doing SEO, because you're doing pay-per-click, because you're doing social media, and you only dispatch and book the people that are ready to buy at that moment. The people that call in and say, yep, okay, Friday at 3, good, let's put it on the schedule. And all those leads that end unconverted, and we're finding it to be somewhere between 50 and 60%, there's no follow-up, there's no text message, there's no email, there's no pursuing that opportunity. We'll just hope that they call us back. Right? And we're only giving us the customer the opportunity to engage via phone. We want them to pick up the phone and call us. And this is causing a massive lack of conversion of the leads in your plumbing, HVAC, and home services business. Now, the good news is there's a solution, right? There's an easy way to solve for this that can massively impact the conversion rate from lead to book jobs in your business, making your marketing more effective, drastically more effective, and getting you a better return on every dollar that you spend in marketing. And that's what we call leveraging marketing automation. That means following up with your web forms within 2 minutes via phone, via email, and via text message, and automatically following up with every prospect that calls in at least 5 times automatically via SMS, phone, and text message and email, so that they get the follow-up that they need, so that when they are ready to book, they remember you, you're top of mind, you're right there in their SMS messaging queue, and they can book the job. Now, we're seeing this implemented and have massive impact on the conversion rates in our client base. It's kind of simple math, right? If a typical client we work with we generate 100 leads via whatever strategy, SEO, pay-per-click, social media, some mix thereof. We're finding is because they don't have any follow-up, only about 30% of those get booked. And we're talking about world-class companies that have great dispatchers that have been phone trained. They've got all the right messaging, but still only about 30% get booked right on that initial call. And so, if we generate 100 leads and only 30 get booked, right? 30 jobs at an average ticket of $650. I know some of you are higher than that, some of you are lower than that. We find kind of an average of about $650. Let's say even if we rounded that up to 40 jobs, that'd be about $19,000 in revenue for those 100 leads. That's a big problem, right? Because you spent a lot of money. You probably invested somewhere between $30 and $75 or more in order to generate those leads per lead. And so you need to make sure that they're converting at a good level. Now, that's obviously poor. Now, the alternative to that, right, if we get this automation in place for those same 100 leads, because we're following up immediate via email, immediate via text message, and immediate via phone, automatically, we're seeing a conversion rate upward of 70%. So for those same 100 leads, all of a sudden we've got 70 booked jobs at an average of $650, almost $45,000 revenue generated for those same number of leads. Now, this can have a huge impact because if you can solve for your conversion problems, it makes every lead you generate more valuable. It makes the dollar that you spent on pay-per-click, the dollar that you spent on SEO, the dollar that you spent on branding return to you at a greater velocity. So let me show you how this works. There's a platform we've developed. We're super excited to introduce it to the home service industry called Conversion Amp, right? It's built to solve this problem of unconverted leads. Now, I'm not going to go super technical, but I want to walk you through how this works. So I'll show you as an example. This is a company called Falcon Plumbing based in Miami, Florida, already seeing exponential gains from this platform. And if you think about your website, the way it sits today, your customers have really 2 or 3 ways that they can interact with you. Way number 1 is they pick up the phone and they call your office, right? That's pretty common. Way number 2 is that they fill out a form on your website. And then, of course, way number 3 would be they engage with the chat bubble on your website. So phone number, web form, chat bubble. And we know that they prefer to engage via chat and text message given the option. So let me kind of show you how this works. Falcon Plumbing, let's use way number 1, the web form, right? And this is usually where leads go to die. We're calling these smart forms because what we want to do is take your average web form that usually gets sent via email and sits in the inbox until the dispatcher or the CSR has time to call. And by the time they call, the lead has gone cold and it's dead. We want to automate the follow-up so that the second this form is submitted, the customer gets a text message. Hey, just saw you reached out. Would you like to schedule a service call? Giving them the option to engage via text. And then also immediately contacting the office at your office saying you have a new web form. Press 1 to connect with Billy Jones or whoever the customer was now. That's really what this does. And then automatically triggers follow-up so that customer is emailed and text messaged perpetually, 5 to 7 times over the next several days until they either answer and say, yeah, I'm ready to schedule, or they say, hey, you know what, I've decided I'm not going to do it, or I've gone with someone else. Either one of those options is fine as long as we followed up and we've got an answer, yes or no. We're finding is the home service companies that are most aggressive, that are most professional in their follow-up, tend to get the job. So I'm not going to get super technical. The application is called Conversion Amp. You can read more about it here on conversionamp.com. But if we go to the back end, ultimately, there's marketing campaigns in place for a variety of different circumstances. And when the web form is filled out, we can set up logical sequence of events, right? We can set up a phone call that calls out to the office, forcing that less than 5-minute conversion or call, reaching out to the lead, right? We can set up a voicemail drop in case they don't answer. So we find is when we call the customer back, they don't answer, we can have a voice message pre-record. Hey, this is Wendy over at Falcon Plumbing. You had submitted the form on our website. We wanted to reach out right away. And then a text message. Hey, Bob, this is Wendy over at Falcon Plumbing. Did you want to schedule a service call, right? And then we can really follow up with them a number of times until they respond. And you might think, what does that going to really matter? Does it really matter if I follow up quickly and I use this automation? I can tell you unequivocally, in turning this on, we saw someone like Wendy and the plumbing doctor who had web forms and their dispatcher called those leads once or twice a day. We saw almost all of their web forms converting because somebody fills out a web form on your website, they're interested, but they need to be followed up with right away. Otherwise, they're going to call the next guy, or they're going to go to Home Advisor, or they're going to go somewhere else. And we're finding this bridges the gap between interest and book job. So that's the first part, is the web forms. And it's really great because every time a web form gets submitted, it sits on a dashboard like this, where we can say, okay, here's our submitted leads. These are the ones that have been booked. These are the ones that are still in play. So we can really track, in a true pipeline sense, how many opportunities are flowing into our business via the web form, and make sure that they're followed up with and make sure that they're converted. So the other area that often happens is they pick up the phone and they call, right? They dial this number, they call your office. They say, hey, I was looking for a bid for a water heater replacement, and you answer the questions, you explain what your trip charge is, or if there's no trip charge, and you talk about when your technician's available. And sometimes they book, and sometimes they don't. Really what we want to solve for is all of those times they don't book, right? And we're finding it something like 50 to 60% of the time. And so what we've done is we set it up in Conversion Amp where every call flows into the platform. Now, if you're already using Service Titan or House Call Pro or one of these platforms, that's fine. This is on the front end. This is to help convert your leads to sales. Those platforms are really built for, once the job is booked, dispatching them, collecting the revenue, keeping track of all of that stuff. So if you don't have a platform like this already, this is a slam dunk. If you already have it, this augments nicely to make sure that you've got an email, phone call, text message going out to every customer and every prospect, and you can track every lead so that you maximize the return on investment that you're making in your online marketing and other marketing activities. So back to the phone calls that come in, right? So the way it works in the system, the phone calls flow into the platform. I'll just get right here. I don't want to have your eyes gloss over and get crazy, but ultimately all the phone calls land right here. We can hear recordings of the conversations, and then we can move them to the next stage in the pipeline. So we move an inbound call. If they called in and got to voicemail, we put it right here, and a text message goes out to the customer immediately. Hey, thanks for calling in. We're sorry we missed you. Would love to connect and answer any questions that you have, right? If they said, look, I need to call back, or I'm going to check with somebody else, or I'll be in touch, we move them here, and now we've got a follow-up campaign that says, hey, thanks for your call. Here's my cell phone number. If you've got any questions, give us a call back at this number, or send me a text message here. Now, of course, any calls that come in route back to the system, back to your office, just like they always have. And any text message responses sit right here in the Conversations tab that you can choose to manage yourself or have your dispatcher manage, or we can help manage it for you on our end here at Plumbing and HVAC SEO, help manage your Conversion app account. Because what's going to happen is eventually your customers are going to say, hey, I love this company. They can engage with me a text message. And we have a string of all of the emails, all the text messages, all the response right within one platform. And what's beautiful is we send that text message, and usually it goes dry from there. With this platform, we can set up multiple follow-ups, all via text message in a non-obtrusive way, to move those people closer to conversion. So if we go look at this campaign right here, qualified but not booked, basically it's just, Tom, this is Josh with Falcon Plumbing. Thank you for your call today. Feel free to call or text back if there's anything we can do to help you moving forward, right? And then it toggles them to another campaign, which I'll show you right now, that continues the conversation in a non-obtrusive way. So here's loop number one. Hey, just wanted to touch base and see if you were still interested in scheduling a service call, right? There's only a couple outcomes here. They've already booked it with someone else, in which case they say, not interested, already booked it. We move them from the campaign. They write back and say, actually, I already booked this with your company somehow, because maybe you got missed in the platform. Hey, great, we appreciate your business. We're honored to serve you. Or they write back and say, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and schedule this thing. And we're finding this can almost 6 to 7x the conversion rate from what would otherwise be stale leads, those people that didn't book right on the first call, those web forms that didn't get the appropriate follow-up and follow-through. So I hope you can tell in the inflection of my voice, I'm super excited about this. This is a complete game changer for plumbing, HVAC, home service companies, and really it's just giving you the ability to leverage marketing automation, email, SMS, phone, so that you can follow through and follow up with your leads and amplify your conversion rates. So with that said, let's apply this to your business, right? If you're watching this at this moment, you're probably a client of Plumbing and HVAC SEO. You're one of our clients, and we want to help you maximize the return on investment that you're making in our services, maximize the return on investment that you're making in any other marketing that you're doing within your business. And so what we're volunteering to do is implement this for you at no additional charge, right? We've got the software, we've got the campaigns. We want to see you get a better return on investment than anybody else in the industry. And so you and your account manager are going to talk. We're going to get this set up for you. We're going to put the smart forms in place. We're going to start tracking the inbound calls through the platform, and we're going to start leveraging text messaging. And that's really where it's at. It's this quick text message interaction to help you generate better results through your online marketing activities. So talk to your account manager or give us a call at 866-610-4647. We really appreciate your business. I'm super excited to see this implemented for you and to see your results go to the next level. Talk to you soon.